Good morning, Breakfast Club family. This is Mark Stevens with your host, Joe Shoop, and our administrator, Shirley Pitts. Welcome to the Breakfast Club on this Tuesday, the 30th of May. Got some great information for you. We're going to drop some great knowledge on you this morning that's going to explain some things to you that you need to know to go right along with the programs that we've been sharing with you. It's such a great opportunity. It's such great information. We're going to be talking about a business model that we happen to think is the best on the planet. Many companies out there are using this business model, and now we're going to be using this business model because, on the Breakfast Club, we like to be the best, we like to use the best, and we like to share the best. So with that being said, good morning, Joe. Good morning, Shirley. How y'all doing today?
Mark. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Mark and Joe.
Good morning. Hey, Mark. What an interesting day to wake up to some information about online businesses. Look, everybody's trying to make money. And now, obviously, the way to do that for a lot of people that stay home or want something aside from what they're doing is do it on the internet. There's lots of opportunities there. And as you know, we have been pounded since January about getting in a certain company. I'm not going to mention their name, a certain company, and everybody's making money. And one of the things you really should never be doing is telling people, especially over the internet, about making money, how much you can make and all this stuff. And it's just not the right thing to do. The FTC is all over companies that try to promote income and entice people to put money into a program and, and get rich, so to speak. So we woke up today to one of our people told us what's going on with a certain company, and it looks like these high risk, high reward programs, they still never work because somebody behind it is gathering up money quick, and then they collapse the programs and they slow them down and take your money. And I've been there, Mark. I think you have been too.
Most definitely. And, these companies come out with these enticing programs and they get everybody hyped up. And it's like you've never seen this before. There's nothing like this and everything. And then you start putting your money in. And then once they've gotten a few $1 million together, then they shut it down, they walk away, and you never see your money again. And this is why, Joe, you've heard me say many times that I don't like paper. I'm talking about stocks, bonds. I don't like digital. I'm talking about these cryptocurrencies. The only real money on the planet is the creator's money, which is gold and silver. That's what I believe. That's just me. That's my own preference. It's not everybody's preference, but it's my preference because, there was a actor years ago, and many of you probably know him. Name was Will Rogers. And Joe, Will Rogers made a statement way back in the day. He said that I am more interested in the return of my money than the return on my money. So that's why the FTC looks at it the way they do. They don't like you saying that you're going to get all this money and hyping it and putting it all over the internet and things like that. You can tell the name of your company, what your company does. That's about all they want to hear. They don't want to hear about all this money you're going to make or whatever, because if you haven't done it and you just started a new company, you can't really say that because you don't even know.
Well, you're absolutely right. And, I have been involved many years ago in putting up serious money for these fast, high risk, high reward things. And I've lost and gained. And overall, I've lost, to be perfectly honest with you. So anyway, I just wanted to say for those people that are involved in those programs to be very careful. If you can, get your money out. And you know what? Go to legitimate forms of business. That's what you need to do. So we're going to talk about that today. And one of the things that has been on our mind, it's always on our mind, is that 98% of the people in this industry when I say this industry, I'm talking to network marketing, multi-level home business type model where all your income is dependent upon whether you can recruit people. And we all know that most people, Mark, hate to recruit. They hate to make phone calls, which is why we have a communication class that changes that for people. And for those that are not taking advantage of that and listening, you're just going to continue on that path. And there are people hoping that all they can do is go on the internet, make the money on the internet without talking to anybody. And you're sadly mistaken. It's not going to work. It never does. We had a new fellow, a new guy, a friend of mine, Mike. He's on the call today, I'm sure. And I know he made a statement to me the other day about people just not communicating in that personal touch, that one-on-one, not so much face-to-face, but at least voice-to-voice. And I was excited that Mike came aboard with us last week, and I'm excited about that. But let's
Tell Cheryl that Lonnie's out here.
What?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Here, mute your microphone for us, Cheryl.
Yeah, I got to do that.
So I want to get on here and talk about legitimate business, Mark, and that's what we're going to do. So that's what the Breakfast Club is. We've been around for 18 to 20 years, the Breakfast Club, teaching people, connecting with people, educating people, and serving people. And the business model that we're going to share is something, Mark, I did not know about in depth until the last month. And I've been doing a lot of research and talking to Dr. Needham and JC and you and getting educated. And so we thought we'd educate the people here on what a co-op really is and a company that is available now. And now this is not a scheme and a high risk, high reward program. It's a simple $3 program. Now, people say you can't make money with a $3 program. I beg to differ, because the way this company is laid out is mind-boggling to me, and it all has to do with a cooperative enterprises. What are they? What do they really do? So let's take a look and let's see exactly what we're talking about. Now, let's talk about co-op versus multi-level. We all know what multi-level marketing is. However, I'm not sure everybody understands what multi-level means, the actual word. And what it means is multi-levels of payment, of pay. The compensation plan is multi-levels, level 1, level 2, level 3, and so on. And every one of them is different. Some are the same, but I mean, they're all structured differently. It depends on the owners of the company, how they want to structure that multi-level pay. That's what multi-level means. Now, network marketing doesn't necessarily mean multi-level. Network marketing is simple marketing using a network of people to market to. And marketing is what you do to get your information in front of people. So they're not really synonymous. Some people think they are, but we relate to it as, they call it network marketing, pyramid selling, referral marketing. It is controversial. Why? Because look at the note at the bottom, 98% fail with this model. And that's what happens in multi-level marketing. So what in the world is co-op? What does that really mean? Now, I've been involved in co-ops before, Mark, and I never understood them. I did lead generational things with co-ops where you shared in it. And it all sounded good, but co-ops, as far as lead generation, never worked for me. And we won't get into why. It just never did. But as a business model, I never really looked at it. So let's take a look at what a co-op program really is. And here's the explanation. And whether we call it cooperative or co-op, it's an autonomous association of people or persons united voluntarily to meet their common economic, social, and cultural needs and aspirations through a jointly owned and democratically controlled enterprise. Credit unions are a perfect example of a co-op. So why don't you talk to us a little bit about co-op, Mark? Your take on that.
Yeah, the thing that excites me about it, Joe, is the fact that it's almost equal sharing. And what I mean by that is that the assets of the co-op is the crowd that's in the co-op, which are the people. And the fact that it's more of a democratic operation as opposed to a dictator, and as you know, with MLM and those types of business models, generally the compensation program is sort of geared towards the company or the people that are at the top, as opposed to everybody having almost like an equal say, and they can, they can vote on things, and they can share in what they build, and they can be proud of that, and they can be proud of the fact that they're not ripping anyone off, because you're not going to rip your own self off, but you're going to do everything that you can to make what you are really a part of and help create. You're going to make it progressive. You're going to make it successful. You're going to put all of your energy, your blood, sweat, and tears, if you will, to make it successful, so that everybody in the cooperative benefit from it. That's the beautiful part of it. And why I say it's the most beautiful business model on the planet.
Now let's take a look a little bit more in depth. That's the explanation of it, and it's amazing. We've done this research and saw a lot of things about it. But you're right. It's basically self-contained, self-operated, self-managed, and it's democratically controlled. So let's take a look at what a credit union is. Since it is a credit union, or credit unions are cooperatives, it's a type of financial cooperative. That's what a credit union is. It ranges in size, obviously. Volunteers, people volunteer to use a credit union, right? Credit unions, credit institutions are created, owned, and operated by their participants. There's the real bottom line to it. In short, a co-op is a jointly owned enterprise engaging in the production or distribution of goods or the supplying of services operated by its members for their mutual benefit. That's basically what a co-op is. But take a look at this. 80% survive their first 5 years compared to 40% of business ownership models. 80% success rate of businesses who are a cooperative enterprise. Now, I'll bet most people didn't know that. I know one thing, Mark. I did not know that.
You're correct. Most people don't. Most people don't.
60% of ownership models fail. 60%. I'm sorry. What were you saying?
Yeah, I said most people don't know that. And when you look at this, it takes you back to why do generally any businesses fail? They generally fail because of lack of capital and mismanagement. Well, in a co-op, you don't have all of that going on because, again, like you just said, it's for the benefit of its members, not just for certain individuals.
Look at this stat. In 2012, approximately 1 billion people were members of at least one cooperative, and the sales of the largest 300 cooperatives reached $2.2 trillion, which, if they were a country, they'd be the 7th largest. 2.2 trillion. I didn't know there were that many people involved in cooperative businesses, Marks, or enterprises. I just didn't know that.
That's amazing. And just think of this, Joe. If these are the figures, and they are, because they've been researched, then imagine being a part of a co-op that's doing this. Can you imagine what the benefits to you and the other members could be?
The reason we're even involved in the explanation and research of all this is because of the company that we are involved with, which is a cooperative. And you'll see in a minute, the guy behind it all is one of the foremost authorities on cooperatives, written several books about it, and just a leader in that industry. And after all that was explained to me and doing all this research, I see why. In fact, they said to me, and both you and me, Mark, one day we were talking about another company, and they said, that company should have been a cooperative. And now that I see this, they were absolutely correct. They should have been. And I can tell you now, these companies that have a 98% failure rate for their affiliates, members, whatever you want to call them, independent contractors, those companies could operate as a cooperative. It could all be set up that way. And I have a feeling that Dr. Needham's going to change a lot of people's thinking about this.
Well, Joe, let me give you an aspect of this. Now, think about a law firm. Remember, law firms used to be so-and-so law firm, PA. And guess what they did? Then when this LLC came out, which is not a corporation, it means limited liability company. And basically what that did is that if a particular lawyer in that firm did something wrong, instead of the whole firm coming down, now that particular lawyer comes down, and therefore they can survive. That's why you had a lot of law firms switching from PAs and everything, or regular law firms, to LLCs. Well, that could be made a great cooperative too. And the fact that it's such a great business model, and what we have and what we're sharing with our Breakfast Club family members is that what we have now and what we are offering, it's just something that's totally different than what most people are accustomed to.
This is an organization in Washington, the National Cooperative Business Association. It is dedicated to ensuring that cooperative businesses have the same opportunities as other businesses operating in the country, and that consumers have access to cooperatives in the marketplace. I don't know that in Washington there is an association to help and to enhance network marketing. Do you, Mark?
I'm telling you, it's a big difference. And you know what? When you talk about a cooperative enhancing anything, the fact that you can share in the enhancement, that puts you in a better position business-wise. You know, because Joe, we always talk about, how to run your business. You know, we've done webinars and broadcasts on, do you know what you're doing in your business? Do you know how to run your business? Do you know about marketing? Do you know about all these things? With the co-op, you get to share in all of this information, which makes what? For a better opportunity to conduct your business.
I don't know of any advocacy group that is protecting network marketing or MLM. I don't know that it exists. It may. People may tell us that. But this organization is a very old organization. And it's dedicated to protecting the consumers and the cooperative businesses. Here's the original pioneer. We're talking back in the 17 and 1800s. This guy was born in, I think, late 1700s, and was a pioneer for the cooperative movement. And in fact, pre-industrial Europe is the home of the first cooperatives for an industrial context. This is the guy that actually made it possible and had it go forward. Although not always successful in those days, he was a pioneer, and he was trying to have, we could go into a lot of detail about groups and even tribes that were cooperatives way back. Not necessary to do it. I think people get the picture here, Mark. But the truth is that there's a new pioneer. And there he is, Dr. Robert A. Needham. This is a world leader on cooperatives and is teaching people. Look, this guy teaches millionaires and billionaires. He's with a billionaire at the moment, discussing some of the aspects of the business. and he teaches people. Now you can see from this, we've talked about this before, but take a look at Robert's credentials. Business advisor, coach, innovator, economic and social theorist, author, public speaker, scientist, thought leader in collaborative and cooperative movements, financial services, franchising, cooperatives in public and private governance, written several books, 18. Here's some of the books that he's written. The newest one out in May, From Scarcity to Abundance, Collaborative Commonwealth, Why Divide When You Can Multiply, Sow Seed, Feed a Nation, could go on with these books. President of Spectrum Advanced Markets, business advisor and consultant to nonprofit and profit ministry and cooperative business concepts, a scientist, highly decorated military career, including a member of NASA, National Aeronautics and Space Administration. You could go on and on. Spoken at numerous conferences on missions, strategic planning, franchising, ministry development, cooperatives, and new trends. Recently spoke in 2014, Money and Technology Summit in San Francisco. Been on television, radio stations, newspapers, internet, industry magazines. This is the man who is teaching people how cooperatives work and why it's important to be a cooperative enterprise as opposed to any other form of business. It all makes sense. So what I do is encourage people to do some research. I began asking, why weren't these other companies a cooperative? How come they don't know this? There's a lot more detail to be given, but not enough time to be doing it on the Breakfast Club. I suggest that you do a little homework and find out what a cooperative is all about. All companies, regardless of their nature, could be a cooperative. And people could truly share in the profits and the benefits of the company, much like a credit union.
Well, Joe, I know we're not going to get into compensation and things like that, but I would like to make this statement here because you just hit upon it, that Dr. Needham consults with millionaires and billionaires, which he is presently doing, and you can imagine what his fees are to those millionaires and billionaires. And we have Dr. Needham to ourselves as well, and for what we get him for, it's almost like we robbed a bank. And so what we're sharing with our Breakfast Club family members and those that are new, those that are listening on the internet and things of that nature, what we have to offer in a cooperative, it's just phenomenal. So those of you that haven't seen it, you need to get with the people that invited you to the Breakfast Club this morning and find out, what are you talking about? I like to have some details on this because I promise you, you don't want to miss this. What do you think about that, Joe?
I look, I think that everybody ought to learn what cooperatives are, and I think they ought to learn what this company's about, because here's one of the things that we introduced to other companies already, is that the company we're talking about is like a feeder program. I mean, if you learn cooperatives and learn this company, you're going to be able to, you don't have to leave your other companies. You can actually use that company as a feeder program. I know there are people right now, they're making money with this new cooperative and they're using it to fund other companies. Why wouldn't you do that? I mean, we're not just we're promoting multiple sources of income. If you were to understand cooperatives and said, look, I already have a business over here, I'm with XYZ company, you know what? If you have a monthly commitment to that company, you could take care of it through a cooperative like this. If you had another company where you needed money each time to maybe fund other projects or whatever, you could use this money to fund those. We're not telling people to leave their companies by any means, but you can also be able to have a substantial income with multiple sources by using a cooperative like this. Yes, I agree, Mark. I think everybody should really seriously consider this and be able to, not only would they grow because of the programs that Dr. Needham teaches are life-changing. They're actually family values and financial concepts and so on. 7 different classes that they teach in the company. So I encourage people to learn about that. Find out what it's about. And as we stated right in the beginning, which I will go back to, if I can get back to that slide pretty quickly. See if it'll let me go back here. Well, let's just go right here. You're talking a $3 program to learn all that, to get access to Dr. Needham. Now, people say, well, $3, what does that mean? Well, you'd have to find out. You could send emails to the Breakfast Club broadcast at gmail.com. Do that, or get back to the person who told you to come here, or get in touch with your friend who's promoting that and find out about it. But, as Mark said, be connected to Dr. Needham, who's actually physically working in the company, access to, and as a matter of fact, let's take a good look, because next week at the Breakfast Club, this time next week, Dr. Needham will be with us. He will be here at 12 noon Eastern on the Breakfast Club next week to talk to you about cooperatives, why they're important, his education and expertise. It will be an exciting day to have him on the call. Wouldn't you say, Mark?
Most definitely. And we're talking about worldwide, Joe. How about sharing in things in a cooperative, not just here in our country, but worldwide?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It is amazing. All right. Well, with that, have a wonderful day, everyone. And Mark, thanks always. Be my partner and at the Breakfast Club. And we'll look forward to next week. And, if you need information, we gave that information out, and get a hold of the person who told you to come here to listen to this. And we'll go to the Breakfast Club broadcast and at gmail.com, and we'll be able to get your questions handled for you. And we'll look forward to seeing you next week. I'll let you finish up, Mark, and have a great day, everybody. And over to you, Mark.
Peace and blessings, everyone. Again, I want to encourage you, just like Joe did, get back with the person that invited you to the Breakfast Club this morning, and definitely be back next week. But get back with them and let them share with you what they are a part of with the cooperative that we're talking about. You'll know the name of the company, and you'll know what it's doing, because I promise you it's life-changing. We're changing lives for real. And again, as Joe said, it's the best feeder program of any business that you want to do that's on the planet. It is the creme de la creme, if you will. So with that being said, peace and blessings to you. This is Mark Stevens for our host, Joe Shoop, and our administrator, Shirley Pitts. Make it a great day, everybody. Make it a great week, and we will see you next week at noon on the Breakfast Club. Make it a great day, everyone.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Joe.